Yes, I can share now.
All right.
Okay. Okay. I think my screen is now visible. Awesome. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on whatever time zone we're joining the call from. My name is Williams Fatayo. Please confirm you can hear my voice, you can see my screen, and you can see my face. I can turn the lights on. I just forgot to have it this way.
We can see all you said, your screen, your voice, and
Great. Thank you very much. Um, It's nice to be here. We are out here to have conversations around harnessing technology for seamless operations. And people call me WTF, and I would be walking you through my understanding of this entire conversation over the next 20, 25 minutes or thereabout. WTF in the sense that it's an alias of my name, point of uh, Williams Fatayo. And I've spent the 10 years of my life, the last 10 years, last decade of my life or thereabout, championing the boundless possibilities of technology towards making our lives easier and our operations smarter. First, as a metallurgical and materials engineer out of the Federal University of Technology, Akure, which is non-arguably or unequivocally the best university as far as the shores of Africa, the best university of technology, the University of Technology as far as Africa is concerned. Um, I don't think that's up for argument. And then I joined Microsoft, where I was championing. I was helping businesses pretty much apply Microsoft enterprise solutions to their business processes towards helping them run smarter, operate more efficiently, and pretty much collaborate better. From there, I joined Weber Bank, where we launched Nigeria's first fully digital bank in our bid to change how banking is experienced within the Nigerian market, take it from a traditional banking process to a digital first banking operations of some sort. And that, off the back of that, I would later go on to manage brand and marketing logistics for the same bank, where I then got certain exposures to logistics inefficiencies within the mid-mile segment, especially under my own jurisdiction when I was still managing that workflow for the bank, where I was responsible for coordinating all of the bank's logistics activities from the head office in Lagos to all of the branches nationwide. And that experience led us to starting Truck, where we are now building not just, oh, sorry, um, experience. Okay, I think this is my phone. Where we are now building what is pretty much changing how leveraging technology to change how logistics is done across the African market. Now getting into the meat of the matter. Something changed in 2020 when the pandemic happened, especially as it concerns our approach to technology and our understanding of technology. Something literally shifted. Prior to 2020, when you're talking to people about technology, applying technology in logistics in their business operations, you would hear sentiments around, we don't care about technology, we have never used technology before, we like the way we run, this is a technology that's hard to understand, and all of that. Post-pandemic, everything changed. The narrative changed. We had a lot of, we need to be online now. We need to be able to work remotely. We need to be able to operate smarter. How exactly can we go about that? Prior to the pandemic, again, a lot of our work experience as at then was when you would need to message chat up facility management on Teams to book meeting rooms across the office space. When you need to have meetings, then you bring in people for physical meetings. And we were all working on site as at then, except for some, let's say, lucky ones or some outflyers that were already used to the remote workspace, remote life, and prior to the pandemic. Again, everything changed. Now we are sending meeting invites, we are joining calls online, and we are running fully remote. And I dare say that our pre-COVID business operations is gone forever. It's probably never, ever coming back again. And that understanding is what I'm trying to help us sort of bring home to how we can better apply technology to how our business run, especially in the context of business growth, business optimizations, but more around what the realities looks like post-pandemic now. But the truth of the matter is technology and digital transformation for businesses is a choice. Businesses can choose to, and they can choose not to. Businesses can, the extent to which they are committed to running on technology or applying technology to their businesses is up to them, whether they want it or whether they don't. But that choice is bounded by what the business is looking to achieve, their vision, and their very immediate objectives. If you talk to a pepper seller on the street and you have conversations with them about technology, and you talk to someone that runs a business that is he or she is hoping can 10x, can 20x, or 100x within the next 2 to 3 years, their understanding of the conversation you are having with them, the enthusiasm with which they approach the conversation you are having with them would be clearly different, not because they are extensively different individuals, or even talk to a pharmacy on your street, similar level of education, similar level of exposure, but the mission or the ambition that they have for their business will be a key determinant of their enthusiasm towards applying technology to their businesses. And the objectives and the vision are the major influencers on the choice that they make. But this choice, again, for the people that have the right vision and the right objective to want to chase or apply technology to their business, that choice, again, would always surround three key pillars. There might be more, but for the context of this conversation, we'll stay on three key pillars. And the first of that pillar would be businesses trying to run smarter, trying to activate or unlock smarter business operations. The second would be faster customer acquisition. How do we get customers in faster so that we are able to activate the revenue from these customers faster? And the third would be better customer service and experience. These pillars are pretty much, like I mentioned earlier, the pillars that I would like us to really focus on for today. Then going to the very first one, technology for smarter business operations. I've come to look at similar businesses that have had to go through that transition of whatever model they were running on to applying businesses. And I discovered that there is a sub layer of three variables that also influence technology for smarter business operations. And the first one is the juncture where the business chooses to identify the tension point. How exactly is this business being run prior to this point? What exactly is the frustration that we are having right now that we are trying to fix? How much is this problem costing us? If we let this tension point keep existing for the longer haul, what is it going to cost us? And how do we address it? And the second question that such businesses would have to ask themselves is defining their objectives and metrics for defining their objectives and the metrics for measuring that objective. If we do attempt to solve this tension point, what exactly are we trying to achieve? And how do we measure the progress we are making per time towards the objective that we are trying to achieve? And the third would then be finding products or options that can help them address those tension points. Take a business, for example, that has people, operations, sales, customer, and product support as the tension points of their business. They struggle to really do people up smarter. They struggle to really optimize their sales operations, and their customer and product support operations is flawed. When such a business decides to then drill down on all of those three sections of their business, those tension points that they have, Such a business will then start looking at, okay, under people operations, what exactly are we, what are the tension points under people operations that we're trying to solve for? We're trying to optimize for faster onboarding time. We're trying to optimize for a more efficient process to performance management. And we're trying to optimize for leave application where people don't just disappear from work and say, I sent a mail to my land manager, I'm on leave. And you're like, and I'm not aware, or someone within the business that should be aware is not aware that this person has gone on leave. Or on the sales side, where they are trying to optimize for their prospects and leads management, they're trying to optimize for cross-division alignment of some sort, where sales is able to run concurrently with engineering and product support, run with marketing comms, run with the guys running the onboarding part of the workflow. Just manage the engagement with every other section of the business that relates to sale. Or in the case of customer or product support, when they're trying to manage complaints better and still also carry the different divisions that ties back to product support as a whole. So it's a bit of understanding what the tension point is within whatever business operations division of the business that they're trying to fix for. Then define what exactly is the objective that we are trying to satisfy, or what exactly are the objectives rather that we are trying to satisfy here. How do we make it more efficient? How do we solve for this problem? And how do we measure the progress we are making around solving this problem? Then they come back to finding those product options. And for those that are trying to acquire customers faster, again, they look at all of their customer acquisition process, right? From sales, from marketing comms, from agents, from digital marketing, wherever those sales come from. What are the tension points in there that they are trying to optimize for? What is the objective that they are trying to achieve? What exactly is the objective that they're setting out to achieve? And how do they measure progress towards that line? And again, they start looking for products to help address that. I would have loved to dig deeper into each of these choice verticals or choice pillars. But time is definitely not a luxury that we have that much on our side today. But I'm hoping that everyone gets the context to all of these pillars that I'm speaking to. Then the third one and the last is the technology for improved customer experience. Again, what's the tension point, or what are the tension points? What exactly are the objectives? How do we measure our progress around improving customer experience? How do we measure our progress towards improving customer experience, and what are the products out there that can help us solve this problem? By the time any business has been able to then break all of these pillars down and the sub-pillars across each of these pillars, then we then have to make a choice. Do we build this solution ourselves? Or do we outsource building it? Do we build it but not use our engineers? Or do we outsource it to people that can help us build it? Or do we just look for a solution that works out there that we can plug into? I have a specific case study in truck use case that I will speak to, but one very peculiar one that comes to mind now is our voucher payment processing voucher at truck. It was a lot of PDFs, the PDF document that you need to send to line manager and then send to head of whoever is going to approve that transaction that we had in the past. By the time we needed to optimize that, a big question was now, what exactly are we trying to solve? We want to make it easier. We want to make it faster. We want to make the tracking of expenses that have been approved and executed way easier to manage and collate than it's ever been. The question then was, do we need to build it ourselves, or do we outsource it for someone to build it for us? Or is there a solution that can work for us and our use case? We looked around at the products available. We saw that there were peculiar nuances to how we run vouchers at truck, how we approve payments at truck, that we could not really get a product to help us build. And outsourcing is going to be quite expensive, if I can use that word. So we decided we're going to build it ourselves. We have an internal dashboard that coordinates all of trucks operations. So we just plugged it in, payment voucher there, where anyone that wants to raise a voucher can go there. This is who I am. This is the division I'm under. This is what I'm raising this voucher from. This is the account number I want this voucher paid into. This is the proof of the expense that I need to make. This is who is my line manager that needs to approve. And automatically, immediately the system picks up that line manager. The system knows who that line manager reports to at management level, who is going to approve the transaction before it goes to finance. And when approvals have been collected, finance gets it, processes that payment, and then confirms the status of that voucher. And easily, without necessarily calling anyone or sending any email, we were able to solve for how payment vouchers are being processed at truck. But like I analyzed or walked you through the truck use case for like a mini use case of these tech adoption options, you would notice that I mentioned specifically factors that influence our own choice at truck. It's either you are looking out for cost, how much is it going to cost me based on each of these options that I have at on my desk. Whether I'm building it myself or I'm outsourcing it to someone to build for me, I'm paying for a product that already exists that solves the problem that I'm trying to solve. What's the opportunity cost? If I don't solve it now, what's the opportunity cost to it? If I decide to put my engineering team on this product to build it for me, are there better products or more impactful products, revenue generating product that they would rather be spending their time building than this payment voucher that I want them to be building? How easy would it be for me to adopt whatever the option that exists out there that I'm trying to pick up on? And what is going to be the impact of whatever option that I'm choosing on the objectives that I have for that particular tension point? Again, it goes back to the sub-pillar that I spoke to earlier around identifying the tension point, defining the objectives and metrics for measuring that objective, and finding the product options out there. I'll walk you through a case study in the scenario of truck around this context of harnessing technology for seamless operations. Truck has gone through this phase twice, where we have to sit down, identify the tension points, define objectives and measures for optimizing that objective, and then finding the product that solves that problem. And the first one was when we built the first version of our product, Truck 1.0. That is pretty much a third-party logistics platform that connects businesses or anyone with logistic needs to the closest vehicle in real time. When we launched this business, all myself and my co-founder did was travel across Lagos, built an Excel sheet of about 86 drivers. Then I got on Canva, designed a flyer with a phone number saying, call this number anytime you need to move anything, and we'll get the closest vehicle to your door in an hour or less. That platform, that Excel sheet went on to power our first 2,000 trips, about $50,000 in revenue, over $50,000 in revenue off that Excel sheet, receiving calls and looking through the Excel sheet for the closest driver to wherever the call was coming from. For someone who was trying to play small, for any business that is doing, any SME that is doing $50,000 in their first year within this market, within the Nigerian market, it's fine. And I wouldn't blame anyone if they decide that I want to stay at this $50,000 or $100,000 level. I'm good if my business is doing a turnover of over 80 million naira in a year. But that wasn't the objective for us. The vision for the business is to really change how third-party logistics is done across the African market, and that is billions upon billions of dollars in transaction volume at the very peak of it. So we knew we could not stay at that level. The question then is, what are the tension points? Customers could not find us easily. They would need to either call us every single time someone needs to move a trip. We don't need to book a trip. Then we will have to call driver and then connect driver. It was a lot of manual processes on there. And that tension point was what we then broke down into objectives. We want customers to be able to book without necessarily talking to us. We want drivers to be able to accept those trips. We want businesses to be able to book, and want drivers to be able to accept trips, and want them to be able to interact from the start of booking to when the trip is completed with zero interaction with anybody from truck. We could have looked for a product that helped us solve that problem. But from our own understanding of running on Excel sheets for about a year and a half, we could not, there were practical insights that we had that no product in the market could offer us. So we decided to build it ourselves. In the first year of running this solution, our revenue grew by 13x by the second year, off everything we did in the first year. The product we built drove up our growth. Then coming into 2023, we saw that That platform has then gone on to power a little over $1 million in gross transaction volume and all of that. But we then saw that there was still a cap, there was still a limitation on that platform. The businesses running on the platform were planning their trips on Excel, aggregating on Excel, reconciling on Excel. Same thing with logistic companies on the system, manage their drivers manually, manage their vehicles manually, lack access to keep quick capital to help their business keep growing. And we knew that to really scale the platform that we have built, we need to be able to optimize all of the processes that lead on to the interaction happening on our platform for us to be able to scale that platform. Again, a tension point has been identified. What exactly then is the objective? We want to help these businesses run every single time-consuming manual workflows that they run within their logistic processes, same thing for the logistic companies, and then connect them at a higher level of efficiency. Ultimately, we believe that if we are able to get them more efficient, we are able to help them reduce the cost of their logistics. Then we have to look for product again. We thought, are there products that we can just take their APIs and build something around? Nothing. Again, we have been in the field on the ground long enough to have raw insight into what the solution is to the problems that we have discovered, that we knew we just needed to build it ourselves. And that led us to building CG by Truck. What we have done in CG by Truck is we have then expanded the scope of the platform that we had before, gave businesses an AI-powered infrastructure to help them coordinate their logistic processes, turned traditional logistic companies into tech-enabled businesses with a suite of solutions to manage their drivers, manage their vehicles, and just run better like a logistic business, and then connect them to each other when they need to interact again. In doing this, we kind of unlocked a level of third-party logistic efficiency like nothing our customers have seen before. We gave them an operating system for third-party logistics. Previously, Truck was just operating at the platform level. Now we have an infrastructure that businesses can integrate into, onboard their own vehicles, and then connect with way more logistic companies within the system than just Truck. And the same technology Truck runs on, other logistic companies are now able to access, to be able to run like badass tech-enabled businesses, and then accept trips from other businesses and logistic companies running across the infrastructure. If a logistic company gets overwhelmed that their vehicles are unavailable to service certain trips, they can push it to the trip pool rather than lose that revenue, and another logistic company accept that trip, does it, and they still make money. When their vehicles are idle too, they open their vehicles up to the trip pool, and every business running within the infrastructure is now able to push trips to them and engage their vehicles. It's exciting seeing what we have been able to do off the framework that I explained earlier, identifying the tension points, defining the objective and metrics of measuring that objective, and finding product options out there. Now, within just about 8 weeks of this product going live, average order fulfillment per customer has gone up from like 55% to over 93 or 96% as of today. Logistic companies now make almost double more money that they were making prior to the last 8 weeks within each month of the last 8 weeks. So if a logistic company was making, let's say they were making about $20,000-$25,000 across all of their vehicles on the platform, now that same logistic company is doing close to or over $50,000 in a month of getting more trips from the ecosystem right now. And for the businesses that were running on Excel and super manually before, processes that would take them 2, 3, 4, 5 hours to plan on Excel, they will sit down across thousands of trips and start looking for what are the drop-off locations that are close to each other, and how do we cluster them up and then push them, give them to drivers and book trips on trucks for drivers to accept. And you would see them put Ikoyi and Ikorodu inside the same trip, because whoever was planning the trip was just saying IK, and just jam them up together. All of those inefficiencies have been solved for, and processes that would take them about 5 hours before to reconcile, to plan, and all of that now happens in less than 10 seconds now, with real-time reconciliation across all of their deliveries. Again, tension point has been identified. We knew what we needed to solve for, and we had to build it out of this model of, do I build it myself or do I look for a paid use? If I'm going to build it myself, how much is it going to cost me? What other things should I rather be focusing on instead of trying to build it myself? In terms of opportunity cost, how easy would it be to adopt the technology, and what would be the impact of this technology that I'm trying to adopt on the operations of my business. And so effectively, businesses have now gone from just trying to access vehicles on truck. So now they're able to do way more, from payment on delivery to driver delivery reconciliation to route optimization, delivery aggregation. Logistic companies now run on a pro level. Their documents are tracked and auto-renewed without even them blinking an eye. They now have driver management solutions, fleet management solutions. They have customer-facing products for themselves. They can access capitals for fueling and repairs of their vehicles. We've given them, of our own curiosity and intentionality towards harnessing technology, we've given them everything they could possibly need to run on a whole new level. I just thought to walk you through that truck context because it's a scenario that we've had to go through twice. And I hope it paints a picture to how you're able to start thinking through how exactly do we better apply technology to our business? How exactly do we better optimize our business through tech adoption? I thought we would have more time until when I was informed yesterday that we wouldn't have that much time on the call. I was hoping that we could pretty much maybe break the call into two, then pick a random business, choose one pillar for tech adoption around what we've spoken to that is relevant to that business, identify the tension points, define objectives, and then find products or recommend directions for the business as appropriate. Sort of try to apply all of what I've been able to walk us through on this call. But I think I will just leave it to everyone. You can just sit down, if you're a business owner or whatever the use case may be, you can just sit down on your own, find a business that you think looks like fits into this scenario of the conversation we have had today. Choose one pillar. Do you want to try to help them run smarter, reach their customers faster, or what's the third one? Delight their customer, improve on their customer experience. Find one, identify the tension points under that one, define the objective for that one pillar, and then recommend product options for them. And that exercise will then help you better finesse how you apply it to whatever personal use case that you may have. Thank you very much. That's the end of my presentation. I'm open to taking questions now if there are any, and I hope I didn't burn out of my time too much.
This is a very beautiful presentation. Yeah, so we're open to questions. Guys, please use the Q&A for the Q&A box. So please drop your questions for Williams. I mean, I feel like everybody understood. There's so much insight that was just shared in few minutes, and it's just like we were like there's just so much value that you've given us. So please, if you have questions, something you want to contribute to the discussion, or you want to ask them, how they work at truck, or something that you want to just ask, please do well to like ask now because you have the floor is all yours. Thank you. Few minutes. Let's hurry up. Just drop your question in the Q&A box. Just use the Q&A forum to like drop your questions. We can't see any questions yet. You can also use the chat if you want to. Who is asking questions? Does that mean that we all understood very well?
Or you can unmute your mic and just talk.
I don't think it allows. Okay.
Okay.
I'm allowing everybody to talk at this point, so you could actually unmute your mic and talk to us. So I've given you access to talk. I hope that you actually use it. So you can unmute yourself and talk to us. Okay, someone wants to ask a question. I'm a guide. Sorry, hope I'm not murdering your name. Your mic is on. Okay, we have one question. Do drivers on the platform have sort of a vendor app?
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah. So that was the question I wanted to ask. Yeah.
Okay. So yes, drivers on the platform have their own driver app to accept their trips, and the logistic company, if they are tied to a logistic company, the logistic company also have their own interface to manage or coordinate the activities of every single driver that they've onboarded to the platform. You can see how many trips they've done, the route that they went, how much they made, and everything else.
Okay, if I may follow up on that.
Okay.
I don't know how skilled, because I can see from the website that you have different ranges of vehicles.
Yeah.
So I guess that to enlist a driver, or I guess it's going to be something like Uber, where anybody with a vehicle can enlist to be a driver on the platform. Is that right?
Yes, that's the logic on the platform side. Yes, but the CG by truck is pretty much runs on a different approach. But yes, on the platform side, anyone with the vehicle that fits to the kind of vehicle required on the platform can sign up and try to get on. Yes.
Did you have any challenges as regards people using the vendor application? Because I suppose that perhaps some drivers who are not exactly tech savvy would want to come on board with their bosses to convey stuff. Was it challenges onboarding such less tech savvy drivers with the application?
Yes. That
how
when
did
you're
you
trying to
surmount it?
apply. Yes, when you're trying to apply technology in an industry as anciently traditional as logistics, you're definitely going to have to face certain challenges. And the first thing we needed to do for at a very basic level, we needed to assign like an account manager or a support officer of some sort to locations where those drivers are in clusters, driver parks, customer warehouses, and all of that. So there was one person who was there sort of helping them coordinate their interaction with the product. And we were also super intentional about user education of some sort. We're always teaching and teaching and teaching and teaching again. And at the point when we thought these guys understood our technology enough, we then started financing low-end smartphones for them, where we give them the smartphones. You can now run boundlessly on the platform yourself, and we take the cost of the phone from your earnings on the platform over like 8 weeks in small fractions. Those phones are usually between 35K and 45K. So we then took that money. But it started from putting someone with them, training them, and then enabling them. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much for the presentation. Very insightful. And the numbers are very impressive.
Thank you very much.
Numerations there. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you, William. Someone said you actually nailed it with the slides. Like the slides are perfect.
Thank you so much. It's super grateful.
They won't know that you did this last minute.
Don't tell them. Don't tell anybody.
All right. Who has more questions? We don't have more questions, contributions. We still have like about less than 80 more minutes or less before we go. Someone who wants to contribute. Okay, I wanted to ask you, Williams, if there was any like incentives you guys used to like for a driver to actually be registered on that truck. Is there like any incentive you're giving them for them to keep working with you guys, just to keep them happy?
So 2 things. I think the incentive is built, a larger chunk of the incentive is built into the business model. A driver before signing up on truck will probably be doing, a single driver that is, will probably be doing roughly about $200 to $300 more monthly in terms of how much they're able to earn. If you look around very well, if you see a guy that owns a van, the way he gets his customer is through a sticker on his vehicle. Call this number, call van for hire, yes. Van for hire, 08034, whatever it is. And then it's only people that probably know that guy or that van luckily passed by them when they needed the van that are only able to engage that guy. The moment this guy signs up on truck, is opened up to a boundless scope of people that could possibly access his service almost every day. And he immediately starts earning about 3x of whatever he was earning literally the month before signing up on truck, from the very first month of signing up. those drivers start averaging or going beyond $1,000 in a month in terms of their earning. We have drivers that earn way over ₦1 million as of today every month. I'm driving that vehicles on truck, depending on the size of vehicle though. Yeah, from a 1-ton minivan up until a 15-20 ton truck. In fact, some end up to 3-5 million. But for larger vehicle trucks that their average cost per trip is about 300K, 200K, and thereabout. But the biggest incentive is the fact that I can make more money, improve the quality of my life and the quality of my finance. Just signing up on this platform is like the biggest incentive. The second side to it is this driver performance, driver activity rates that we incentivize for. The speed at which you upload your trips, you update your trip status, the feedback from the customer, the quality of your service to the customers that you service, how many trips you are able to, what your trip, the highest trip milestone over the course of a month that just keeps them going of some sort. So yes, I think the incentives are inherent in the model and some that we had to introduce as we journey on. But I think the one that drives the business the most are the inherent incentives in terms of the quality of automation, the quality of support, and the growth in their finance just driving on truck. So much that our driver referral acquisition channel is our biggest and most active acquisition channel right now. We just needed to tweak it a little bit, pay them about 15,000 every single time you refer a new driver, 3K at the point when you refer, and 12K when the driver does his 20th trip. Lock in retention, acquisition and retention in that referral campaign model. And within 3 months of deploying it, it's pouring drivers into the system every day as of today. And so I think the biggest incentive, like I said earlier, is inherent in the business model itself.
This is interesting. So interesting. Before I say on that thing, someone's hand is raised. Please go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to ask again, do you have, let's say, some APIs to integrate to other businesses?
Yes.
Say
Yes,
some, okay. So, and then those companies who are integrating your APIs can have access to available drivers?
Yes, yes.
That's super interesting.
We have customers that are running literally. I'm in this because I just got back from a customer's warehouse in Agbara, a pretty heavy volume customer. And they literally run through our APIs. They're a tech-enabled manufacturing company of some sort. There's this VC that just invested in themselves. They just was about $2 or $3 million about a month ago. But yes, companies integrate into our APIs and they access the drivers. Our infrastructure powers it. The experience is the same. Everything
without having to have any physical sort of or phone call interaction.
Yes.
Everything happens on the app.
Yes, everything on the infrastructure. Yes.
Super.
If you'll be talking to anyone at all, if the driver calling your customer or calling you to say, I just accepted your trip, I'm on my way to you and all of that, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Great. All right.
This is so insightful. Like, it's just, this is, not every day we get to learn about fintech. This is just so different. And so some people have a lot of questions and it's quite intriguing. Does anybody have any other thing to say, to comment before we wrap it up? Because I feel like Williams has given us a fair share of his business model and a part of his brain too. Yeah. So does anyone have any contributions before we go? Because we've done a lot today, which has been super interesting having Williams around. Remember, you're all muted and you can actually speak if you want to. All right. I think we can actually call it a day since we've had a very awesome discussion and we've gotten to learn about harnessing technology for seamless operations, something outside of the everyday tech, right? But relating it to real life businesses that are actually functional. Thank you so much, Williams, for coming on board and sharing so much insight with us. I learned a lot. every other person who has joined us today also learns one more thing. So you
Great.
can,
Thank you very much for having me. I absolutely enjoyed having this conversation. Um, I'm Williams Fatayo across all platforms. So in case you do feel like following
yeah,
me and hearing a lot of my rants on social media, it's Williams Fatayo.
you could drop your links on social so that we can follow you. Also, we also need your slide. Very important. We need your slide to be able to share back to the community. So you could just share the link with me, maybe on Twitter or via email. Then we can share back with everyone who has joined to this conversation. So
Great.
if we could also have maybe your links for social media platform, you could just drop it in the chat or also on QA, and people can go ahead and please follow him. Yeah, he drops a lot of insightful tips. He's a pretty cheap guy, so join, follow him and get to learn more from him on social media. Thank you everyone for joining. I know that we don't usually have webinars on Thursdays. This is like a new norm in the Enyata tradition, and that's because we had to break protocol to bring Williams Fatayo into the house today. And for that reason, I want to say thank you all for joining today's session. We hope to host you guys again next month, probably on Fridays again. So thank you all. And please do well to follow. He has dropped the link. Do well to follow. Thank you all and have a lovely pre-weekend. Yeah. Have a lovely pre-weekend. Bye everyone. Thank you so much, Williams, for joining us.
Bye.
And
Bye,
yeah.
everyone. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.